Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Alabama Care. I am Lane Hagan, and I have with me Miss Allie and Mr. Oz Imaghodor. Please introduce yourselves.
Hey everybody. My name is Imaghodor.
I'm Allie Imaghodor. Nice to meet you guys.
All right. So the reason we're here, obviously, is to talk about XVI. Tell us a little bit about XVI. Tell us why you started it. Go from there.
Yeah, so XVI, we're a nonprofit, but I like to call it a passion project. It's in honor of our son, Xander, Vance, Imaghodor, so it's his initials. Everybody's like 16, and I'm like, no, it's XVI, it's his initials. It was very cumbersome with the logo. I'm like, I don't need the dots, but I need to drive home it's his name. So that's been an interesting journey. Love the new branding. Shout out to Ari at Hobson Ray. But so for us, Xander was born at 23 weeks, 7 years ago. And at that point in time, 23 weekers just didn't exist, much less 23 weekers that left the hospital relatively healthy. And so what we thought was going to be a medical journey through lots of specialist visits and, just full-time medical care, we were kind of turned upside down when we went down the journey for development for Xander. So we did early intervention from the time he was 9 months old, doing all the specialized therapies. And in that journey, we realized how isolated we felt as parents. We have an incredible community and family who supports us, but until you're in it, you can't really understand. People do their best, but they say the wrong things. They try to be overly helpful, and you're like, hey, I just need to breathe and be in my own air. So from that, just being in waiting rooms and encountering other parents who were struggling to understand what was going on, struggling to fill out paperwork, struggling to pay their copays and being turned away, I have a big heart and I love people. I have a true heart for people. And so I kind of looked at Oz in the pandemic and I said, let's finally put a name to what we've been doing behind the scenes. We would share Xander's story on Facebook with weekly updates for everybody. And through that, we'd have people open up to say, hey, I don't feel comfortable sharing it publicly, but can you help me with X, Y, and Z? So I'd say we had been doing it basically Xander's whole life.
Absolutely, yeah.
Before we decided, hey, let's make this into something. And, we talked to good friends who said, hey, if you jump into something, we will support you financially.
Mm-hmm.
You can count on us. And they have definitely come through in that arena. So long story short, XVI is just in honor of our son and knowing that through his journey, there is so much out there for people and so many resources, but then there's also a lack of resources and trying to just navigate the whole world of specialized therapy, of early intervention, and just managing a child who may not have a specific diagnosis yet, and how you get coverage for things, and where do you go, who do you talk to, the transition into the school system, which was a whole whirlwind for us as well. So we do a lot of encompassing things, but it's just really a passion project to try to help people not feel alone.
That's awesome. I can relate to so many of those things, and
For sure.
It really does. At the beginning, it can just be so overwhelming, and you do feel extremely isolated and enclosed. But there is a wonderful community. You just have to find a way to get in, and sometimes
Absolutely.
it's not that easy.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's one of the things that I've kind of taken on with Libby's friends as well, is just trying to be more full service. If I
Absolutely.
can't help you, I'm going to point you in the right direction of somebody that can.
Absolutely.
And y'all are one of the people that come to mind. If I got somebody that I can't help, I'm like, well, let's see if XVI can. So do y'all serve the whole state? Are you Birmingham? Where do y'all serve people?
So we serve all of Alabama. So far we've gone as far south down as Mobile, and we've gone as far as north up as Coleman. So all the state of Alabama. So, and we're located here in Birmingham, so covering that area as well too.
Gotcha. So tell us about how you raise funds. Tell us about how you give out funds. Tell us what the process looks like.
Yeah, so I've learned a lot from you, Lane, and your journey with Libby's friends, so thank you for that. I try not to copy you too much, and if I do, I give you credit for it. But so for now, our grant process has kind of run from in the springtime. What we learned not just with Xander, but as we encountered other people, is that once you're in the school system, the summertime can be a huge gap, especially if the school is not able to provide services over the summertime. So the thought process was, if we get these grants in at springtime, we'll be able to help fill the gaps over the summer. So we typically would accept applications until the end of May and then divvy out funds, June, July, and August to kind of get people through those gaps. And because typically billing is a month behind for services, so that way we can catch up with people before they're, due another bill. And as far as getting funds in, like I said, our village, our people have just come through for us. All of our funding so far has just been from donations from friends and family, community fundraising, people sharing our mission on Facebook, and partnerships with other businesses through our fundraiser, Delayed Not Denied. And just our community has really come through for us. And we haven't had to go any private funding as far as grants so far, which we'll get into. And I know that's another question you have for us. You're the grant master.
Yeah.
But yeah, our community just really has carried us thus far.
That's awesome. That's incredible. Give me some examples of some families that y'all have helped, and not names, but what have y'all done to help some people and support some families so far?
Yeah. I'd say the thing most recently that has been really cool is we great partners with you guys and other organizations in Birmingham, and just these unique situations. I love that people know that they can call us, and even if it's not our grant season, like we had an instance, we have a great partnership with the Help Me Grow program with United Way, and they picked up the phone and said, "Hey Allie, we have a grandmother, got custody, needs help with just what's simple for us. We have this overwhelming privilege that we're able to provide the things that Xander needs without seeking outside funds, but she just needed a wait list fee covered for her." And they said, "Hey, can you do this?" And I said, "Absolutely." And then by the time we hung up the phone, they got me the information and they said, "So when do you think you'll get this done?" And I was like, "It's already done."
It's already done.
And because that's what we hope to do for people. We hope to say, not make it hard for you to get help, because in Alabama, and I know you guys experience this too, we've had these conversations that everybody wants to help a specific diagnosis, or you have to check these boxes. And Xander, his little wild self, has never checked too many of the right boxes. And so that's important to us to be able to just say, "Hey, you don't have to have a specific diagnosis. Come to us with this." We have a great relationship with some of the applied behavior analysis facilities, and we had a mom reach out. Her son's school does not have an appropriate fence, and so he has an issue with elopement because by the time he has recess, he misses his mama. And where they go play is the same place that they go to dismiss. So he's running out to try to get to a car. So the bracelet that was provided from the sheriff's office, he has severe sensory issues, and it was uncomfortable, and it didn't work for him. So we bought a bunch of different AirTag holders and just tested it out and saw what worked for him. And we have an appropriate device for him to be able to use in case he does get lost. And that works for him. And I'm just like, how cool is that?
Yeah.
You think that the school is going to have a fence, the school is going to have to, but that's not always there. That's not always the case. So the fact that we were able to just step in something that's so small but so huge for her, and for her to just come and say, just thank you for that peace of mind. You can never put a price on that, and just the way we feel as parents, and knowing how we've made things happen for us, and how we are high-fiving each other like, yeah, we got that done. To be able to do that for other people has just been really incredible.
It is, and I echo exactly what you said. And one thing that I've found is there's so many things that don't fit into these boxes that we're supposed to, whether it be the children or what people are needing, and a lot of times the schools will say, hey, because it doesn't meet XYZ, we can't do it. So it does fall onto us, which is really unfortunate, because obviously the schools have a lot more money than we do, but the fact that y'all could step in and do that is wonderful. So you mentioned your fundraiser, Delayed Not Denied. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so Delayed Not Denied is a saying that we've always said for Xander. I'd say the hardest part for us in his IEP meetings and just in all the evaluations is just hearing how behind he is. And there's this delay, you know, there's that delay. And, you know, then the next thing you know, he'll go and do something and we're like, ain't nothing wrong with you. You're just stubborn. You know what I mean? And so
He's just a man.
He's
Yeah.
just a man.
Uh-huh.
He is his daddy's child. He gets his attitude from his mama, unfortunately. But so just that phrase just really checked so many boxes for Xander, you know, and it just really was a true, I say, picture of his personality. So when we first launched XVI and we hit the ground running with everybody saying, hey, when are you going to do a fundraiser? When are you going to, you know, do something? You know, every year I throw a pretty big birthday party for Xander because, you know, for so long we didn't know how long we would have him. And so he's our one and only. We're one and done. So I make it a point to celebrate him and celebrate him with all the people who have carried us, you know, through this journey. So they said, hey, we need you to have a fundraiser. We want to be able to have a party for XVI. And so Delayed Not Denied just seemed like the perfect fit. So we had our first event last year. We had a goal of $5,000 and we raised 26. So
That's awesome.
it was huge for
Yes.
us. And so we were like, okay, we have to do this again. And, you know, just through those community partnerships, you know, my dear friend Mandy Majerick at Hot House Design Studio has so graciously opened her showroom, which she does not usually do, for us to be able to have an event there. So that's really incredible. I could live there. I get in trouble when I go there.
She does.
She does. But just being able to have that partnership with her and being able to host the event there and being able to have all of our vendor friends say, hey, you know, we want to be able to help you guys do this and raise as much money as possible. So everybody just working with us from top to the bottom, whether it be drinks, food, decor, everybody has just really pitched in and say, we believe in you, we believe in your mission. And so the kind of tagline with it is an intimate dinner to benefit XVI. And so for us, what's the most important thing? Family and people, friends, you know, just really fellowshipping and connecting with people. You know, we love big galas and fundraisers and putting on a tux, but that just didn't feel like us. So we really decided, hey, we want it to kind of be an elevated family style dinner. Everybody just sit down, get together, no pressure, you know, just a good vibe and a good experience. So that's what we're planning for Delayed Not Denied this year. It's on November 11th. We are thankfully sold out as of today, which is such a
That's
blessing.
awesome.
We're so grateful for that. So we're really excited to just fellowship with everybody and to be able to share our mission, and then hope that everybody goes and tells another friend that's not in the room, and we can, you know, continue to grow it year after year, and we'll probably get to, you know, a gala at some point. But yeah, that's really what Delayed Not Denied is about, is just really fellowshipping with people.
That's awesome. I really look forward to being there this year.
I'm
and
so excited to be there.
I'm ready for that one. So tell us about your partnership with the Dance Foundation also.
Yeah. So I had the great opportunity to attend the classes at the Dance Foundation, and I was Xander's peer helper. So, you know, I got my dance costume on and was able to dance with Miss Blakely and meet all the teachers there. And so it was amazing, man. It was amazing. Got to meet some more parents as well, too, that's here in the community. And just having something for them to do outside of school, outside of ABA therapy, was always a great benefit for the kids. So they thoroughly enjoyed it. Xander can't wait to go back and do it again. So excited to do that.
So the Dance Foundation partnership came when Xander was in preschool. They came to Hall Kent. So they came and did the dance classes, and if he wasn't participating, he was at the keyboard trying to play music for the class. And so it was just something that was always very engaging for him, and they were always so accepting and loving of him, whether he wanted to do the task he was being asked or color outside the lines. And so Diane Litzy is their awesome executive director, and, you know, I went to her and I said, hey, what can we do with you guys? And when it came to the summertime classes, they didn't have a lot of parents who were registering. So I said, hey, we want to sponsor these kids. We want to be able to do it. And as soon as we put it out in the universe, people signed up. And when people came, you know, I know you understand this too, especially, you know, being a parent. When you're trying something new that you never thought you could do, you're apprehensive. You're like, I
Don't know
want this
about
to go
this.
well.
Yeah.
Don't know about this. Everything that glitters may not be gold. But it really is there at the Dance Foundation. And, after that first class, just seeing those parents be able to take that breath of fresh air and say, this might make me cry, for them to say, I never thought my kid would be able to do this. And I never thought my kid would be able to be in this safe environment. And, it's just really powerful. It's such a testament to Blakely and everybody there to make it a true passion to be able to accept kids of all abilities and provide that safe environment, to provide a helper if they need it, to allow the parents to go in. They're just really awesome. So we do the summer program with them every year. Last year, we also were able to provide 2 classes a month to Hall Kent for their preschool. They like to do 2 times a month, for best instruction, and the school at that point was only providing once a month. So we stepped in and said, we'll do that and double it.
Yeah.
So, and we'll continue that next year as well. We're going to try to do a different school every year, just to be able to spread the love, and just for Dance Foundation as well, for them to be able to share their message with other people in the community as well.
Yes, that's wonderful. And you're exactly right. When you go to some of these things, for a normal parent, it may be easier to just dive on into that pool. But for us,
Right.
I feel like it's just kind of put your toe in, test the water, and then,
Yes.
but that's wonderful. We need more of that. We need
Absolutely.
more places where we can take our not typically developing children and have those interactions. And I commend the Dance Foundation for that.
Absolutely.
So y'all started XVI last year.
Yes.
So last year, I think we would all say we were still in a global pandemic.
Yes.
I understand that face. So tell me a little bit about the challenges that COVID presented y'all and XVI.
Yeah, so the biggest thing I think was access. So we are very hands-on people, and a big part of us for XVI is that we don't want to be too large. We both still work full-time, but we also invest ourselves in the XVI full-time as well. So for us, we don't want to just give money. We don't want to just give items or material things. We want to make that connection. So being able to visit the schools and being able to go in and say, hey, here's who we are, meet people, shake hands, meet the kids. Oz is everybody's favorite, and I get so jealous. Anytime we go anywhere, I'm like, love me, and everybody's like, no, Oz. I remember when we went to Coleman, it was like
Man, that was amazing.
Literally all the little kids like rushing, like, who is this, and who's bringing us art supplies? It was just hilarious. So for us, that was that challenge of being able to get in and connect the way we wanted to. Also, just people being hesitant to attend our events. Last year, we did a sensory inclusive holiday event, and just people being wary, like, my kid won't wear a mask. Is it going to be okay around other kids? And, just the typical things that everybody kind of worried in the pandemic. Financially, it didn't affect us that much, thankfully. But just like of getting our true mission and our heart out there, I think that was the biggest challenge.
I agree.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things that I have really admired about both of y'all, is that y'all are both able to keep full-time jobs and do this and do it with so much success.
Thank you.
I personally just do Libby's Friends. I can't do anything else. It's taken up so much of my time, and
That's why you're so awesome at it.
Yeah.
well, not always, but I appreciate that. And I do admire so much about what y'all are doing so much, and the fact that y'all can do both and parent, and it's just awesome. And I'm so proud of y'all.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Ryan.
Wayne.
But so
It's why we only have one kid.
touche.
Touche.
So if you're telling me, if we're talking about success, how do you judge success for XVI each year? Do you count each family that you help, or is it about just your overall feeling? And tell me what success looks like to y'all.
Yeah. You wanna touch on that, Alice?
I'll let you touch on it, and then I got some.
He's gonna follow up. He's like, you get that one,
Yeah.
Alex. For me, it is very important. So, my grandfather was my father figure in life. Oz had his father, and we lost both of them. It'll be 10 years for my grandfather this year and 9 for Oz's dad. And so we try to do everything in honor of them. And they were both great men who moved in silence and who didn't always say what you did, where you did it, and how you did it. So for me, I don't think I'll ever publicly say everything we do, because some people, are very personal and very private and don't want their information shared. And that's why it's a point, on our grant application, we ask people, do you feel comfortable with your story being shared? But that's not going to discount us from helping them if they don't want us to publicize that. And so, I don't count necessarily all the little things. If somebody hits me up and says, hey, we're out of sensory supplies, or, we've got a lot of orally sensory seeking kids, so what you did a month ago, we need double that, because you can't sanitize it. That becomes theirs. So for us, success looks like when we've been able to help everyone that has come to us. We never want to turn anybody away. We went into our own pocket for things, before we officially started XVI. And so for me, success looks like people knowing they can pick up the phone and call us. And when that happens, I'm like, okay, I'm getting the right messaging out there. I'm able to pivot whenever somebody needs me to pivot. And success looks like looking out in the community and knowing that we've made an impact, and seeing that, whether it be our playground communication boards, whether it be, a class sending us pictures when they've been able to have a dance class, or they're working with one of the sensory kits that we provide them, and it brings a child comfort. I think success for us is just measured in our hearts, and in how other people feel about us as people, and as an organization, and just knowing that people know that we're here. And for me personally, I don't feel comfortable yet paying us for anything that we do for XVI. So everything that we have goes out into our community and our mission, because, we are blessed to be able to do both. So, that's for us priority. And so knowing that every dollar is going to something matters. Mm-hmm. Like, he's like, Allie, you cannot keep paying for all the marketing. You can't keep doing all this on your own. Like, come on, this is what it's here for. But it's so hard for me to run a business, Lane, and for me to be able to, have these expenses and do all the things. And, thankfully our friend's an accountant. God bless you, Rebecca. But yeah, so just being able to just say, hey, we know we're making a difference, and people believe in us too. I think that's what success means to me.
Yeah, I think you hit on everything I was gonna say. Like you said, just people knowing that we're here and they're able to reach out is just like the most comforting thing. And that's success right there. Just, I can contact XVI for any help I need, and I kind of measure that as success for us.
For you, or just like, what I love that Oz has been able to do, and you guys have been able to do with, the partnership with United Ability, is just get together as dads. Mm-hmm. And, Oz is just, we've had families who need nothing monetarily from us, but say, can we go on a walk? Yeah. Can we meet at the park? Can we just talk? Coffee. Can we vent? Can we have coffee? Yeah. And just being able to make those, meaningful connections. Mm-hmm. Or, like for instance, you had somebody that you went to college with that had a baby prematurely and was like, hey, because y'all have shared everything about Xander, I know that I can talk to you. I know that I can connect with you. And so, yeah, that's been really cool. Yeah, it's like, okay, like we're not just like talking to ourselves and monologuing. People are listening. People are paying attention. So it's been awesome.
I think reliability means so much in the community that we're in.
Yes.
There are so many organizations out there that do their best, but you can't count on them day to day.
Yep.
And that's one thing y'all do so well, and I think we do so well.
Absolutely.
If you reach out, I can answer, or I can get back to you within an hour or so.
Yes.
And just being available. Sometimes it is. It's just a conversation that has to be had.
Yes.
Just listening ears. Just redirecting to go this way, go that way. It's so many different things that sometimes these bigger organizations, I don't think they can tackle.
Right.
Absolutely.
And that's why I take a lot of pride in what Libby's Friends and XVI does, is what I consider still small, young nonprofits.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And and I think too, we have so many great places in Birmingham, and that's what I love about you, Lane, is that you're willing to be collaborative with us. Y'all are a sponsor for Delay Not Deny, which we are so grateful for. But just being able to collaborate and say, we're not trying to take any one thing away or take credit, or it's not about that. If we can all get together, we can do all the things. But you can't do everything, I can't do everything. No one organization can do all the things.
Right.
And so I think that's why it's so important for us to be able to have these open conversations with other organizations, just to say, hey guys, let's work together, and just to think about what we can do together. I think has been really awesome.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I completely agree. I think we're here to share what we
Yes.
do and how we do it, and to make everybody better. I'm not trying to hold everything just for Libby's Friends or just for XVI or other organizations. Like, I believe in community, and I feel
Yes.
like that's the strongest way that this community and this world gets better.
Yes.
Amen.
Awesome. So pivoting from success,
Yeah.
let's talk about struggles.
Ooh.
Let's start with, okay, so I can personally kind of think about struggles we had. So let's start more at the beginning of XVI and talk about the struggles of starting a nonprofit, especially starting one in a global pandemic. We don't have to hit on the COVID-19 stuff, but
Yes.
it plays a part of the story.
It does. And for us, just waiting on the 501c3 approval.
Yes.
And, thankfully we have friends in every single profession. So we had an attorney on hand. We had an accountant on hand. We knew all the things to do, but making the payments and making sure I sent this check and did this check, and you're following all the rules in the order that you're supposed to provide it. And then because of the pandemic, processing times just took forever. We went through a point where we couldn't go in person to the courthouse to file things, so we had to wait on the courthouse to open up. And then, we got so frustrated waiting on the full 501c3, we did the EZ, the amended version, just to say, hey, people are trying to give us money. So, let's do that. Our sweet friends at Culture City offered to be an umbrella organization for us, while we were waiting. And I was like, I can't do that. And so that's a struggle for me, is accepting help. I will admit that. Accepting help and, and it's not thinking that people are disingenuous or that they want something in return. It's feeling like I should be able to do this. I should be able to do all the things. And I'm very hard on myself personally to just try to take care of things, and just get it all done. I'm sure you can attest to many of that struggle.
I nodded my head.
Smart man.
But yeah, that, and then I'd say in the mechanics of XVI, my biggest struggle has been understanding that I can't help people that genuinely don't want to help themselves or help their situation. It's one thing to reach out and say that you need something, but what I've found is that I can't do everything for that person. The parent has to have that involvement. And I can hold your hand.
You can hold your hand.
But I can't follow through with everything. And so we're birds of a feather, Lane. So just being able to just say, okay, at some point we have to say, okay, this is the line, this is the boundary. I can go to here, but you've got to take it the rest of the way. And then too, I know you experience this as well. People are like, okay, Allie, I know you're great and wonderful, but you can't be calling me with all the personal information for somebody else's child.
Right.
They have to call me.
That's true.
They have to put in that effort. So I'd say for me that is a big struggle, is accepting that, okay, there's what I can do to a point, and they have to be able to take it there too. And so I say, I always critique myself and say I can do a better job of empowering the parent or making sure they understand, if you get this done, this opens the door for so many other things. So it's hard for me to accept that I can't help everybody and then not be critical of myself for, not saying that I've invested enough in them as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I echo so much of that. I mean, your application and my application, it's like I can literally hold your hand through it, but you have to physically type in everything. You have to provide the documents. And Catherine and I have this discussion all the time, and I know she's so tired of hearing me say, well, I have, part A, B, and C. I just need D and E. And I've emailed them 3 times, and she's like, well, guess what? They can't get help if they can't do what you need them to do. And it's
Absolutely.
like, we've tried so hard to make the application as easy as possible.
Absolutely.
But you can't, and I struggle with it to this day, 2 years later, that I'm still like, I want to just fill them out for people. I want to be able to just say, okay, you tell me, but no, we can't do that.
Right.
We already do enough. we can't do it all.
And our time is better invested in other places as well, because that time is taken away from somebody who's like ready to go.
Yes.
Tell me what you need and
Yes.
I'm going to send it. Like Oz, if I need something, like the thing I love about my husband is that he is the strong silent type, but he is organized. So if there is ever an application, do you know what I say? Hey Oz, where's that file? 30 seconds later, he's
You
got it. Whether it's on his phone, he's pulling up his email. So that is, we are definitely polar opposites, but I think we definitely pick up where the other lacks.
Yeah.
And that's why we're successful as Xander's parents, especially because the good cop, bad cop definitely works when it comes to
You need
Xander.
that.
I'll let y'all guess who the good cop is. But yeah, so just being able to say, hey, guys, if you get us this, we can do whatever you need.
Yeah, but you got to get it to us.
You got to get it to us. Yeah.
Yes, you're right. All right, so let's talk about some goals.
Yeah.
Tell me, if we come back in 1 year, what are some of the goals you hope that you've attained?
I hope I successfully, so I have previous grant writing experience from other boards that I've been on, that I get the courage to be able to write our first grant application for XVI and to just really expand beyond our community, family, and friends for fundraising. You know, and just me say, hey, okay, we're out of the constraints of this, you know, this tax period. You know, here's what we need to do. And so I know there's always people out there, you know, that need the help, but, you know, just making ourselves more available just with advertising and getting our information out there so people know, hey, you know, that's not the number 16, that's XVI, and here's what they do, you know. So that is a huge goal of mine is to just really put myself out there outside of the bubble that we've been in and just really open ourselves up to more funding from outside sources because it's out there. You are so gracious to help me with what's out there. So yeah, I'd say in a year, that's really where I want to be, is just really fundraising outside of our sources that we've already reached out to.
I will definitely help you with the grant writing, because I will tell you, my first year, I failed miserably. I think I was like 0 for 9.
Yeah.
And I actually, Alex is one of the ones who kind of helped me change my perspective.
Yeah.
And then I went about it a whole different way this year and found success. And
Yeah.
I will be glad to help and put you in front of the people that have helped us. And I think, it's a community thing.
Absolutely.
Like you said, the money is there. Birmingham is one of the most giving communities in this entire
generous.
country.
Absolutely.
And sometimes getting your foot in the door is the most important thing.
Yep.
It's there. You just have to find your way in. And I struggled with it, and I still struggle with it for some of these other bigger, corporations and foundations. But I do feel like we're making some strides forward. So
Yes.
as we go, I will help y'all go as much as I can as well.
Thank you.
All right. So 1 year. So let's fast forward 3 years, and that may be too much because I even struggle with what my 3-year plan is. But if you could pick, 1 or 2 little things 3 years down the road, what is XVI doing?
Yeah. I'd say 3 years down the road, I'm maybe tapering off of my day job, being able to focus more into XVI. I'd say having communication boards at every major park in
Birmingham.
In Birmingham, for sure. Starting in Birmingham first. We're in all the parks in Homewood. We have permission to go to the city of Hoover for communication boards. So being able to just provide that level of communication access for kids at play is something that we're very passionate about, because it was very much a struggle for Xander in learning how to functionally play and communicate during play. Xander's biggest delay is in communication. And so his face is very expressive. He repeats what he wants to repeat when he wants to repeat it. He also has his AAC device that he uses. So I think about, all the times where people, talk about where Xander's intelligence is lacking. But then I think me being an adult on the outside looking in, I'm like, man, it takes a whole lot of brain power to be able to communicate 900 different ways just to get your basic needs met. And, and we just want to continue to encourage families to not hear one thing about their child and think that that defines them, and to think that their diagnosis defines them, that their IEP defines them, that a code and a chart defines them. It is a means to an end. It is a means to get them the help that they need. So being able to better help families just navigate, just to say, hey, people, we've had so many friends that we've helped recently who have said, who are fretting and, you know, hair's on fire about something that I had the answer for immediately. And they're like, oh, I just go here, or this is what I need to do.
This is what you need.
Yeah. So just being able to, I'd say, expressively and publicly put a name to what we can do. And, you know, there are so many things that I'll never be able to put on our website or put in advertising that we can help you with this. But I think the more we are able to put ourselves out there to the entire state of Alabama, and really that's where I want to be 3 years from now, is I want to be able to touch every county in Alabama and be able to physically be present there myself. You know, as much hands-on as we want to be, you know, we do have obligations with jobs, we do have obligations with Xander. So being able to just dedicate more time to being able to physically be present everywhere that we're providing assistance to is a huge goal for me 3 years down the road. And, you know, just hopefully getting a big fat grant from somewhere and and being able to invest it in more people. And I'd say that you didn't ask this, but leading into it, my end game goal for XVI, and I say end when I don't think it'll really be an end, is to have a community center where everybody is welcome. I want typically developing kids. I want kids who have physical disabilities. I want adults, kids. I want everybody to be able to be in an open and inclusive environment, and whether that be getting specialized therapy services, whether it is just coming for an ice cream social, extracurriculars, because there's so, while Alabama is full of resources, it's also limiting as well when it comes to things outside of the school system, or as people age out of the system. You know, there are only a couple places you can go, and, you know, I think there are two different, you know, people that you support. You have the people who plan for their children to be with them and in their home and provide that support. And then you have people who don't have the capability to do that. So they have to send their child to a different facility, you know, or something like that. So being able to have this all-encompassing center, I know it sounds like bubbles, unicorns, and rainbows right now, but being able to provide just a safe place where people can just go and breathe in a place without judgment, and in a place where they know that they are loved and supported, and that their children know that they're loved and supported. You know, for me, my favorite thing is for Xander going to a place where he knows people know him, and he can just roll in and roll out like Cookie Fix. They're like, hey, Xander, you know, and he's got his cookie and he's on his way. Or whether it be to the pool and all the lifeguards are recognizing him, you know, just being able to have a place where everybody can be recognizable and feel loved and, you know, cherished, I think is our ultimate goal. And that takes a ton of money. So it's going to be a long time down the road, but that's where we hope to get to.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Anything to add to that, Oz?
No. I think honestly, you definitely covered it. Having that place like that.
So I guess kind of my final question is, and I'm asking this from another nonprofit standpoint and then a community standpoint, how do we help XVI be more successful?
I think continuing to just share us with people, to share us with people as you encounter it. And even if, you know, you guys have helped them and we don't need to even provide direct support, to say, hey, if you guys ever feel like there's somebody else that you want to add to your team, XVI is a great place to help you and support you. I also think the more people we encounter, the more we learn. We love learning and continuing to engage. We don't pretend that we know everything. You know, we know what we know through a lot of blood, sweat, tears, and frustrations. But, you know, being able to encounter other people with other disabilities or developing needs is just really incredible to broaden our horizons and our better understanding. You know, we have an understanding of, you know, a true developmental need. You guys have the true understanding of a medical need, of physical disability, where, you know, I'm all under the assumption that a kid in a wheelchair can go over bark in a playground, and that's not ideal.
Right.
And it's not always the case. And, you know, I wouldn't know that until I sat down and I talked to a mom, or I made a ignorant comment in a Facebook group and they're like, yeah, no, that's not how it rolls.
Right.
And so, you know, I think that, and just continuing to share us, you know, and Lane, you are one of the most helpful people I have ever encountered. And so we can't thank you enough for everything that you've done for us so far. And I'm just so grateful to know that, you know, you can't get rid of us. So that we'll always be there to help each other. But yeah, just continuing to share and just continuing, as you learn something, share it with me, and then vice versa. You know, being collaborative. I think that's the best way to be able to help us, is just continuing to be collaborative. And you do a great job at this, and all the, you know, mutual organizations we have, just being a collective community and just really trying to tackle everything together.
So I know one thing you said earlier was, you mentioned the dads group. Well, we have, and we say this a lot, but I think we are taking steps in the right direction of having a special needs moms group as well. I don't know when the timing's going to be, but we were at a respite event a few weeks ago, and Catherine and another mom were talking to some other moms, and there's a lot of moving pieces, but I'm hopeful maybe in January we'll be able to say that's a thing, because it is so needed. You know, we're very fortunate that we have the dads group. You know, Brad and David and the team that started that, I can't thank them enough, but I definitely think as our group grows, we see the need for the moms group even more.
Absolutely.
And you know, our dads group is very unique. We have a group of dads that are very hands-on, and more often that's not the case.
For sure.
So I feel like if we have 62 dads, we're probably going to have 162 moms that are going to be interested. So
count me in.
I knew you'd be a part of it. And that's one thing that I want to see through. Like I really think that is so needed. Like we've discussed, it can be a very dark place. It can also be a very, very happy, celebratory place, and I want that for everybody.
Absolutely.
And that's where I hope we're going.
I have to shout you two out for being really awesome hands-on dads. Y'all are unicorns, especially in the disability world. But I love how both of y'all are getting on the floor and you're playing with the kids. You're at the appointments. I tell people all the time when they're like, I need to talk to mom, and I'm like, nope, he has a fully present father as well. He can answer any question you have. So yeah, y'all are awesome, and we appreciate y'all. And I know we're a lot to deal with at times as mamas. not hardly.
Not hardly.
But yeah, just you guys really being hands-on, really it makes a difference.
Well, thank you. I appreciate this, and this has been very, very great time, and we've enjoyed learning more about XVI. And we don't have anything?
Nope. So at this point, we can go ahead and give our respective cameras a wave.
Yeah.
Say, see you guys next
Bye,
time.
guys.
Thanks,
Thank
guys.
y'all.
Thank you for being present.